They put air raid shelters in the school grounds, and we all got jobs. I was water boy. I had to carry 2 kerosene tins of water into the air raid shelter. Every time we got a warning, we had to pack up and get underground, you know. They dug great big trenches and made these shelters with a sloping roof, wooden, and then they buried them. And that was where we had to go if the siren went, you know. I started learning as I got older. I learnt the drums and I became very involved in the pipe band. With the men all overseas, they were running out of men to replace them, younger men. And of course they came round the school, the pipe band, Port Ahuriri Caledonian Society pipe band, and they came round the school looking for youngies to learn. So 4 of my mates took on piping and I took on the drumming. I was the only one that took on drumming. And so we used to go and practice and learned it, and it got very popular, yes. But when I was so small, and I'm still quite small built, but I was so small because you had to learn and then get in the band, and they'd give you a uniform. Well, they were all adult uniforms, and the kilt I had to put on, they were too expensive to buy more. I had to make do with that long kilt, adult kilt. So to wear it at the right length, I had to have it hard up under my armpits. And Mum had to make me braces, just little short ones to go over my shoulders to keep the kilt up there. And then it was the right length down here, you see. And that's how I started off, yes. And then I found I enjoyed it. You know, I spent 13 years in that pipe band and went to contests and all sorts of things. Yeah, it got bigger and better. And during the war, well, at that time it would be, the Home Guard was formed up to meet the Japanese and all that, you know. And they wanted a pipe band. So we joined up, and on Sundays when they'd go practicing bayonet practice with broom handles, they didn't even have rifles. Broom handles was what they'd drill with, you know, and they'd use these broom handles and march with them and over their shoulders and everything you like. No weapons, and we became the Home Guard band. We put khaki tops on, so we fitted in with their dress, you know. And yeah, it was quite interesting. My brother went. He was one that went away. He was too young though to go for a start, and he played up. They put him in camp, and he was a great boy for his stomach. And I think he broke into canteens at the camp and pinched food at night. And he was getting jail. I believe he had life in jail. He had so many, he was a bit of a stirrer, trouble guy, you know. He loved trouble. And of course, and then the last one I heard about was he was in jail and they had them out watering the parks, you know, with these big fire hoses. And him and his mate were on fire, watering. And evidently there were some bigwigs coming to visit the camp. And Jack and this other guy were these big hoses going, one each. And these big generals, or whatever they were high up, came in, and he could see the wind was the right way. So he said to his mate, "Straight up in the air, boy." And the wind carried all this water onto these guys in these khaki cars and everything. and they got arrested again and charged again, and more time in jail. So anyway, I believe the army called him in the finish and they said, "Look, Jack, what do you want to do?" And he said, "I want to go overseas." But he said, "I'm too damn young." So they said, "Well, look, we'll contact your parents, and if they'll let you go, you can go underage." So Mum agreed. She could see he was restless, you know. And of course, they let him go overseas in the finish and cancelled all his jail life in prison.